Well, hello everyone. As you're coming in, welcome for where you're broadcasting from across the world. I'll give it another minute. See others who will pop in. Thank you all once again for attending. So awesome. So welcome to this information session, this kind of introduction and overview of the College of Community and Public Affairs, also known here as CCPA at Binghamton University. My name is Justin Brim. I'm one of the admissions counselors, and I'm joined with one of my fellow admissions counselors, Tanya Barajas, and she is an international admissions counselor, and we will be on chat, as will a few others here. So I just wanted to just kind of quickly introduce them. We have Mary Beth Kendrick, Coordinator of Academic Advising and Student Services for the Department of Human Development. You'll get to know that department as well later throughout this presentation, as well as Dr. Sarah Young. Sarah is our BSW Program Director and Assistant Professor. But first, and before, of course, we turn it over to our Director of Undergraduate Student Services, Regina, and you also hear from some really, really awesome students throughout, will share their perspectives and learning a little more about what makes CCPA special. I do want to first bring in for a welcome our Dean of the College of Community and Public Affairs, Dr. Laura Bronstein.
Thank you, Justin, and welcome to all of you. It's unfortunate I'm not seeing you all, but hopefully I will see you all soon in the fall when you'll be here as a student, hopefully, and we'll be in person. You can see some of the virtual backgrounds we've got here. You see. Regina and I are both in the back of the University Downtown Center. I've got I guess we both have spring pictures. My tree's a little more in bloom, maybe a little further along in spring. You've got Mary Beth Kendrick, like with a real background in her real University Downtown Center office. And then you've got Tanya and the Vestal campus, and then Justin, I don't know which campus classroom that is, but it's a typical classroom at Binghamton University. So again, welcome. I have been at Binghamton University for probably longer than many of you have been alive, 22 years. I'm originally from downstate, from Queens, and then I went to high school on Long Island. I love Binghamton. I love the community. I love the university. That's why I've stayed. That's why I live in this community and work in this community. I actually, when I first came to Binghamton, I was a human development faculty member. So I have a very special place in my heart for human development and always will. I came to actually help start the social work program. So of course I have a very special place in my heart for social work. So it's two of my favorite programs here being represented that I've had the privilege of working in and teaching in. I will say that to any of you that while I'm not in my office now, to say, come by and see me. I am very accessible via email and happy to make Zoom calls or phone calls. So if any of you want to reach out to me at any time and hear anything about the dean's perspective or view of the college as a whole, then please feel free to reach out. You have a great group of people here today, faculty, staff, students, and they can tell you the real deal about what it's like to be a CCPA student. And so I will turn it back over to Justin and wish you all well.
Thank you, Dean Bronstein. And just as a real quick housekeeping, I didn't mention it before, and I just apologize for that. We'll be answering any questions that you have in the Q&A. So we may get to some questions live at the end. Definitely, if you have questions in the meantime, please use the Q&A function, not the chat function. Okay. And now I want to turn it over to Regina Alfieri-Squire, our Director of Undergraduate Student Services.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm going to be sharing my screen in just a minute to just go through a quick few slides with you. I'm very happy to be here. I'm actually a proud Binghamton alumni myself, and I actually graduated from Harper College at the undergraduate level, and then I did my master's in CCPA in the Department of Student Affairs Administration. I knew that I wanted to be working with college students, and I was thrilled when I had the opportunity to stay at Binghamton and then, of course, to work at CCPA. There's so many things about CCPA that are really special, and I'm just excited to be able to share some of them with you today. So something about CCPA that's very attractive to me, and one of the reasons why I wanted to stay at this college is their value system really matches my own personal value system. So we have a strong commitment in this college to anti-racism, equity, social justice, and inclusion. And our curriculums are designed to be inclusive and to offer students kind of rigorous academics and give diverse educational experiences. So when I think back on my own time as a CCPA student, I can say that I was really challenged. I had the opportunity to engage with so many different types of people and so many different types of experiences. And when I graduated, I was really ready to work. Our professors here at CCPA are not only professors, they're scholars in a variety of areas, and they're the areas that they're sharing their knowledge with you through the classroom. So we have scholars in human rights, in mental health, in education, and they are really going to be sharing with you real world scenarios and real world experience so that when it's your turn to hopefully go to work or to be thinking about going to graduate school, you know which path you want to take. So every program at CCPA requires an internship, practicum, or field placement, and our students do 50,000 hours of service every single year. And our students are, in a variety of areas. We have connections in nonprofits, in government organizations, in the K through 12 systems in the Binghamton area and the surrounding area. We also have a lot of connections in healthcare. So there's a lot of opportunity to get that real hands-on experience through our community partners. Something that always comes up when we're talking about CCPA, and Dean Bronstein touched on it for just a moment, is the University Downtown Center. So I do want to share with you that we are located with two different locations on campus. So we have our University Downtown Center, which is nestled right in the heart of downtown Binghamton. It is close to our community partners. It's really important for us to be at this location because we're close to the community organizations that we serve on a regular basis and where our students are doing those field placements and practicums. A question that we often get is, do first and second year students have to be taking their classes at the University Downtown Center? The answer to that is actually no. In the first 2 years at Binghamton, our underclassmen will be taking their classes primarily on the Vestal campus. And on the Vestal campus is our second CCPA location, which is an academic B. So you can see that we want to stay connected to the Vestal campus energy, have our students be involved with all the offerings of the Vestal campus, but also enjoying the University Downtown Center when they become upperclassmen. In fact, many students at Binghamton, not even in CCPA, but in other majors, choose to live in the downtown area. So it's a very quick commute to the University Downtown Center. So undergraduate academic offerings, we have two undergraduate majors. So we have the Human Development major and the Bachelor's of Social Work. They're both Bachelor's of Science degrees, and we have representatives from each of those departments here if you have questions that you want to ask about either of those majors. And we also have two minors in this college. So we have the minor in Immigration Studies and we have the minor in Education. Something that is really great about CCPA is that we offer many accelerated program options. So these are called 4+1 degrees, and it's essentially where you can earn both a bachelor's and a master's degree within 5 years. So the first 3 years, you'd be concentrating on an undergraduate degree. Your 4th year, you would take a combination of undergraduate and graduate coursework. And then your final and 5th year, you'll transition into the graduate program and finish your master's degree. So as you're a sophomore or junior at Binghamton, you can start exploring those options. There's so many that you can choose from, and it's really a great opportunity. So opportunities for students, I've touched on it a little bit already, but we have many. So our students have opportunities to be engaged with the community. They're, of course, doing internships, practicums, and field placements. We have many students who are helping our faculty scholars with their research, different research projects and initiatives. This picture on the slide is actually from a student affairs research poster presentation. Of course, we're very active in social justice initiatives in our local areas. And we also have many opportunities for professional development. At this time, I'd like to start introducing some of our student volunteers so they can talk specifically about their experiences in some of these areas. And I'm going to first turn it over to Jules.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jules, and I want to talk a little bit about internship opportunities. So as Regina said, as a human development major, you will have to do at least one internship during your time in the major. And before you freak out, there are a lot of opportunities and you have a lot of support in helping you find the perfect internship for you. So don't freak out. I chose to do the peer advising internship, and my supervisor is Mary Beth Kendrick. If you do become a human development major, you will get to know her. She is awesome. But basically, my position is to help all of you. So for anyone who is interested in the major or has any questions, they're welcome to reach out to a peer advisor about the major, about the requirements. And if you're already in the major, you can just come in and ask pretty much any question you want regarding the major. We do get some questions about the minor as well, which isn't necessarily affiliated, but I am an education minor, so I can try to field questions as best I can. But in the internship, essentially, it is to help other students. So it's nice to have a peer just because we are going through the program with you. So if you're having an issue with the class, or you're not understanding material, or you just have a question about your degree progress and things like that, as a peer advisor, that is something that I can help you with. And if it is something that's kind of above me, I can always refer students to Mary Beth. But that is essentially what the peer advising internship is. It really is to help other students. And again, that just goes into being engaged with your community, and that includes the human development and CCPA community as well.
Thanks, Jules. Next, we'll have Stacy speak.
So hi everyone, I'm Stacy, a senior double majoring in human development and social work. So I'll focus more on the social work aspect. This is the first cohort of the BSW program, so I'm excited to be graduating this semester from it. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about field placement. So in general, for the social work program, whether you're an undergraduate student or a graduate student, you need to complete a field placement for licensure. So it's 1 year depending. Well, for the BSW program, it's 1 year, so your senior year, and you get to pick an organization that you want to be there for the whole year, and you have to complete 510 hours for the whole year. I do know it sounds really intimidating, but it's a lot of opportunities for you to fulfill the hours, so it's not as crazy as it sounds. So for this semester, for this year, given the fact that we're in the pandemic, it was kind of challenging to get field placements, but I was placed on campus, on the main campus, with 20 to 1. So 20 to 1 Prevention Programs is a peer education program that provides interpersonal violence and bystander intervention programming to the students at BU. So one of my responsibilities was facilitating and educating other students with our presentations regarding those topics. So since this is a new program, a lot of my responsibilities had to I had to take initiative to kind of fulfill my own experience. So that allowed me the opportunity to create special projects. So last semester, I created a special project titled A Black Girl's Guide, and it was a video series, a 4-part video series, and the purpose was to bring awareness to domestic violence against Black women. So that was really an opportunity for me to showcase my own interests within my field placement. And depending on the field placement that you're in, your supervisor will allow you the opportunity to be more hands-on so that you can get the most out of your experience.
Thank you so much, Stacy. And next we have Nora.
Hi, I'm Nora. I'm an alumni of Human Development. While I was with Human Development, I did my practicum, which is the intern piece with CARES, which is community advocates restoring educational standards. They work within the Binghamton School District to create social change, social capital, and family empowerment through grassroots organizing and advocacy. They worked within like restorative justice practices, and I found this was a very excellent example of how I could use what I learned with human development in the greater community and for a purpose with a lot of meaning for me and for other people. And it just sort of uplifted what I had learned within the program and made it more practical and more and created more opportunities for other people, and sort of rededicated the work I was doing towards social justice. So I really appreciated that opportunity. And in doing so, I've been now volunteering with CARES for the last 2 years since I finished my internship. So that's been a really great opportunity to serve the community of Binghamton and to help an organization work towards equity and justice within the school system. So that's been really great. And that is also something that you get to do while you're an undergrad at CCPA, is you get to use what you learn in apply it practically. Did you want me to talk about professional development as well, Regina?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. I also used the professional development office while I was at CCPA. It's an office that is within CCPA for CCPA students, and it really works towards helping you get employment, helping you get internships, helping you redo your resume. It's just a fantastic service that they have, that CCPA offers its students. You don't have to go to the main campus. You get very personal help. You get practice with interviews, you get all sorts of things. And it's also, what's really fantastic about it is that there's also a peer support piece to it. So you're talking to people who may have some similar experiences to you and can help guide you in the right direction. And then you have Stacy, who is a fantastic resource for the students at CCPA as well.
Thank you. So we are going to be hearing more about each of our student volunteers' experiences, but we have a little time, and I was wondering if Mary Beth and Sarah would each like to share a little bit more about what their specific program entails. Did you want to go first, Mary Beth?
Sure. Hi, I'm the academic advisor for the Human Development Program, and our program is very broad. So it can lead you to many different career paths in many sectors. So nonprofits, healthcare, criminal justice, education. We have across the board applicability. And our major is based in social justice. It is highlight social inequities and how we work to change those, or how people can work to change those. We like to say that we train advocates, we train activists and advocates, actually. So our program is 10 courses, 4 core courses and 6 elective courses. There are also 3 prerequisite courses in sociology, psychology, and another social science. And our core courses include an introduction to the program, research course, and social justice course. And of course, the capstone is the practicum and the internships that you have heard Jules talk about and Nora talk about. And then we have 3 areas of electives. We have 3 focused areas: theories of human development, social action and policy, and working in groups. And so you can sort of see what path you want to take and tailor your program. Although you take 2 courses in each of those areas, they do fold in to different ideas, different pathways. So there are things that focus more on education or focus on other areas, sort of like casework, mental health, community health. And then social action and policy is all kinds of things, from politics of education, poverty and discrimination, sexuality in society. So we really have a very broad base, and our students, some of them go right into the working world. Some of them go on to graduate schools in health professions or law professions. So I think that gives you a good overview of what our program is. So I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you. So it's wonderful to know that you're here and wanting more information about CCPA. I'm really glad to share with you about the Department of Social Work and the BSW, or Bachelor's in Social Work in particular. So social work is a profession, and as a major, we actually have an admissions process. So you apply to become a social work major. We have a 2-step admissions process, including a group interview. And part of why we do that is because we have a commitment to a core set of values. So the values of the social work profession are service, social justice. You've heard a lot about that, and we have that in common with human development, the dignity and worth of the person, the importance of human relationships. And so much of social work, you'll learn how to foster and nurture human relationships and support them. And we also practice with integrity and competence as well. So we say in our program that although you are a strong student, it doesn't necessarily mean social work is the right fit for you, or that you're the right fit for social work. So again, we really want to make sure that students are committed to enacting these values and creating a more just and equitable world. So as you've heard from Stacey, the signature pedagogy, or sort of the crown jewel of your education with social work, is your 510-hour internship. We work really hard to connect you to an internship that sparks your interest and matches you with a population that you're deeply committed to. We also encourage our students to lean into the discomfort and work with a population they never imagined they would want to work with, because we know a lot of growth can happen when you're open to those new opportunities. In the BSW program, like any BSW program in the country, it's a generalist curriculum. And what we mean by that is, instead of specializing in mental health or community organizing, we prepare you to practice at the individual, family, group, community, and organizational level. So in the BSW program, you'll get expertise in lots of different areas, and you'll be ready to enter the practice world if you're stopping after earning your bachelor's degree. I think one of the benefits of getting a bachelor's degree in a program like ours is that you can apply for advanced standing. So it's a little bit different than the 5+1 programs we offer. You do have to apply to graduate school, but often if you've earned that BSW degree and you qualify, so getting a B or better in your social work courses, you can earn your master's degree in 1 year instead of 2, which is an advantage for students who at least think that they want to end up in an MSW program. And here's a pro tip: graduate school education is higher in tuition than undergraduate education. So it saves you time, but it also saves you money, which is really important, and you value, I know for sure. I'll just say a couple pieces about our curriculum. So right off the bat, it is a 2-year curriculum. You join us in your junior year, and so your junior and senior year would be spent in the BSW program. We have 3 generalist practice courses, one with individuals, one with families and groups, and one with organizations and communities. We offer a course on diversity and oppression, but that theme is so key to social work that it will show up in all of your courses. We also offer a variety of electives. And again, I think it's something that CCPA works really hard at. So electives we've offered in the past are social work practice with the LGBTQ plus population. We're currently offering 2 electives now on child welfare and mental health treatment. So a variety of options, a really well-versed and flexible degree. And please let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. At this time, I want to turn it over to some of our student volunteers to talk a little bit more about their experience. And we'll go ahead and start with Jules.
Sure. Thank you, Regina. First of all, I completely forgot to formally introduce myself. I'm sorry. I'm Jules. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a human development major and an English major and an education minor. I love to stay busy. So if you have any questions about any of that, feel free to put it in the chat. I'm sorry, in the Q&A portion. But specifically about human development, I love it, to say the least. I think that it definitely was very eye-opening, and it even helped me get more in touch with myself. I think that especially the first course that you take, the first core course, as Mary Beth said, it is an introduction. So it is a lot of information, but it's very important information, and it really does set the stage for the rest of the curriculum. I learned about biology and psychology and sociology and anthropology all within that course. And it seems very overwhelming, and at times it can be, but I also learned a lot about how it relates to the world around us. So I think that that was so eye-opening because I saw it in my everyday life. And it's truly a curriculum that is not just in the books, but all around you. I noticed that, even just in my everyday interactions with people, I'm like, oh my gosh, we do that. And that is normal. And oh my gosh, so you make a lot of connections between what you read and what you experience in life. And then going forward with the research course, also, learning qualitative and quantitative. It might not sound applicable, but it is. And then I took the social justice course this past summer, and it was accelerated, but in any case, I did learn so much just about kind of the systemic issues that, are kind of resurfacing now, but really aren't new, but are still trending nonetheless, and about, kind of the etymology of that. And again, it just is so eye-opening, and it really does bring that consciousness forth. So I think that's also a really good course. And I did speak a little bit about the internship, which I promise is not as bad as you think. It's 100 hours, not 510. But both are doable, I promise. But it is 100 hours. And again, I do love being a peer advisor because I do get to connect with students pretty much on a daily basis. And even if it's them crying like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna finish in time, or them having a minor panic attack, it's always nice to be able to put them at ease and help them, get to where they wanna be, especially, graduation. Seniors are like, can I graduate? Am I done? It's always nice to reassure them like, yes, you're on track. And we do have office hours. So again, if you do have any questions, or, if you want to reach out, even if you're not in the major yet, just if you have a question about the admissions process or anything like that, the application itself, feel free to reach out. But I really do love the major, and I'm so glad that I decided to major in it. I think that this is a major that is so unique from all the other Binghamton programs. So if you're interested, 120% recommend applying.
Thank you so much, Jules. Stacy, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I can go. So I have a unique perspective. I'm in both of the programs in CCPA for the first time, but I did start off with as an HW major. Coming into Binghamton University, applying to college, I wanted to do social work. It was like, I want to be a social work major, but my advisors around me was like, HW is kind of like the next best thing, so try it out. And I did. And as Jules touched upon, I really liked Intro to Human Development. It was really an eye-opener to the degree. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna stick with HDev. But my heart was really with social work, and I was really excited that the social work program was launched in 2019. So I applied, so I became officially a double degree student. But I saw that a lot of the coursework in HDev and social work were very correlated, which I appreciated. My research class in HDev was the same research class in social work. Diversity and oppression correlated with poverty and discrimination. So it really helped me to be more in tune with social justice issues, to be more culturally competent, which is important as a social worker. And yeah, I think what I like a little bit more about HDev than social work is that HDev is flexible. And a lot of my electives were towards interest in social work. So I took adolescent development, multicultural counseling, because again, like I said, I do want to work on the micro level, be a counselor in a clinical setting. So that is a career goal of mine. However, with social work, it also teaches you what you need to know, because like Dr. Young said, this is a profession. So there's not much leniency with what you want to know, but everything that you learn is important. So I'm learning a lot from both programs, and I'm glad to be a proud graduate from both. So
Thank you so much, Stacey. Nora?
So a little bit unlike Jules and Stacey, I've actually graduated, so I don't have the same kind of pressures that they do right now. But I was a transfer student from a community college, and I came to human development because I was really, really, really interested in social justice in the school system. And I was just floored by how well human development addresses that. And then there's also they also have these other classes that sort of build on those interests, but then allow you to explore other interests as well. It's thoroughly based in social justice, which I appreciated, but in a way that again is like applicable to the real world. I also appreciated because it's like a community, like it's truly like a deep community that you stay connected to over like so many years. Like I'm still in contact with professors that I had, 3 years ago. And when I saw Mary Beth, I was like, hi, Mary Beth, how's it doing? She's like, hi, Nora. And so that was really nice to have that community support you as you're going through this program, which is incredibly rigorous and critical. So not only do you have, your classmates rooting for you and you build those friendships, you also have your professors are there rooting for you as well and supporting you so that you can do the best work that you possibly can. And of course, the classes are fantastic and they address, so many different things from, gender, understanding how gender is learned to, to anti-racism, to structures of oppression, and all these things that you need to critically understand the world and understand the systems, but also are so applicable and so needed and so necessary in the world right now. So it's just also it's highly competitive. It's a highly competitive understanding of the world that you have right now. And it's so needed by so many different companies. So I really appreciated that.
Thanks so much. So I think at this time, if there are questions that anybody wants to ask, we could try to answer them live. Yeah.
Hi, we haven't got any questions yet, but that's okay. The night is still young, as they say. But I wanted to ask for a little bit of more information. There was a lot of really good information about internships and field placements. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more. How much say does the student have in guiding those placements, where they may go? What does that process look like? And also, how does that interface for like not international, transfer students? Maybe Nora could talk about that too.
For the practicum, it's self-directed. We get a list of organizations within the community that we have a good rapport with, and you have to contact them to see if they'd be willing to let you do your practicum with them. There is a little bit of flexibility if you may not be in town for the semester, but for the most part, that list it's pretty extensive. So you find your interest within that list and you call, and a lot of times, because those organizations have had such a good relationship with the Human Development Department, they're very happy to have you. So it's a pretty quick and painless process. As a transfer student, there's a lot of support, because there's also a lot of people who come into human development who are non-traditional students. So that's sort of expected that they have that support system there, and you do connect pretty quickly to the people around you.
We do have a lot of transfer students, and often they come in with their general education requirements done, and our program really takes the last 2 years. But as Nora was saying about the internships, we have one person who's our community liaison who coordinates that program. I used to do that job, so I know we have about 50 different organizations. And as Dean Bronstein said, that when she first was a human development professor, this department has been here for a long time, so we have really strong relationships with school systems, with all kinds of organizations, from people do internships, with the police department, with the Department of Social Services, with the Handicapped Children's Association, the Vines, which is a neighborhood, builds neighborhood and community gardens. So we really have strong relationships with many community organizations. And I know people think, oh, Binghamton, it's this small little city or town, but we have an amazing diversity of nonprofit organizations here that are run really well and are very dedicated to what they do. I think, as Nora mentioned before, there's CARES that does a lot of advocacy for social justice and equity in the schools, racial justice in the schools. We even have Citizen Action, which they advocate. So it's a grassroots organization that advocates for many different things. So it really is across the board. Human resources, which is another area where our students are very interested in. There are many internships for them, speech pathology, and just about anything you can think of, you can do with HDEV or have an internship. We probably have one, if you can think of it.
I'll follow that and then pass the mic to Stacey. So in social work, because it's, as we keep saying, the 510-hour requirement, which is the requirement of our accrediting body as well, we have a more coordinated placement process. And by that, I mean, we have 3 co-directors of field education that work with you to identify your interests, but also any limitations or things we should know about. So for example, if you have your own transportation or don't, if you live in Binghamton or don't, we really work to match you to something that feels accessible. And if there are other things we should know about, we really take that into consideration. So we don't assign you an internship. In many ways, it's very self-directed, and you rank your top 3 populations that you'd like to work with. And then our field co-directors go to work, and they come back and you have a meeting, and they offer you this buffet of options for you to select from. Now, I feel like I should put an asterisk. That's pre-COVID, ideal situation. During COVID, I think we've had to be very resourceful. And so we have had, in addition to folks who weren't able to be in person in an agency, which is what we aim for, typically 2 days a week, 8 hours a day, we have had a number of cultivated online resources, trainings, anti-racism trainings, other kinds of certificates in mental health and first aid. So we've coordinated a supplement of information while we're working to place students during COVID. And so, again, hoping that we can get back to in-person options when that makes sense and when it's safe to do so. So I'll pass the mic to Stacy for any more personal touch.
Yeah, so going through both of the process, of course, social work is a little bit more rigorous. And especially with the pandemic, it was hard to get a field placement, but that sense of community throughout each of the departments in CCPA, I really did feel supported, even though it felt like, I don't think I'm gonna get a field placement. I don't know how I'm gonna do these hours, but we were able to navigate that. And of course, it was really a push to make sure that we're getting the best out of our field placement, our field experience, because this is a generalist practice major degree. So after I graduated, like if I'm not going to graduate school, like I could practice social work. So I want to make sure that I am competent. I know how to fulfill this profession, that I can help other people. But yeah, I guess you just want to make sure with the field placement that you're happy in it as well. And of course, like if you have any concerns, you can address them and they can be fixed if necessary. But the main purpose is to make sure that the student is happy wherever they're placed.
Cool. And it looks like there was a question that came in. How many new students are admitted into the human development program each year? I think maybe it means enrolled. Like, so how many enter each year? And and I'm doing roundabout kind of rounds here, and I'm not including internal candidates. So just as a quick little FYI, we have a lot of students that may start as undecided or undeclared, potentially also in CCPA, but a lot of times most students might, undeclared anyway, they might start in the Harper College. And of course, there's a number of programs in there, but they often find human development as well. They often find their interest in social work as well. So they find CCPA too. You have those students too. So they're usually internal candidates, whereas they might want to actually either move from one school that they're previously in to the next. So those numbers that I'm about to mention don't include internal candidates or how many enroll into human development every year who are already at Binghamton. But as far as external enrollees, meaning first year students, i.e. freshmen, but we use the term first year. So first year students, as well as external transfer students. If you're transferring from another college outside of Binghamton, it's usually about 40 or so, 40 to 45 first year students and about another 30 students who are external transfers, to answer that question.
Thanks. Yeah, we are still welcoming questions, so feel free to continue sending those through. Nora, since you're an alum and Stacy, you're an upperclassman, I was wondering if you could sort of look back at your college career retroactively. Is there a particular experience that stands out for you, or classes, a class or classes that were some of your favorites?
I loved poverty and discrimination so much, I TA'd for it. I really loved that class. Also politics of education and Black child and adolescent development. I felt like those were some really powerful classes that I was able to take, which completely informed my worldview in a way that I wasn't expecting, but also made me a better writer, a better student, just really pushed my game up, just because not the work I was being asked to do and being asked to meet was just so inspiring in the way that they were asked to. And so, like I said, I liked poverty discrimination probably the most. And it was just a fantastic experience, both as a student of the class, but also as a TA.
So similar to Nora, that was one of my favorite courses as well, poverty and discrimination and politics of education, just because of the professor who taught it. I think sometimes, even if it's a class that is not necessarily your interest or you're kind of worried about learning about, it's the instructor who makes it worthwhile. Unfortunately, that professor passed away last year, but he was very relatable. Like it just didn't feel like it was just kind of getting emotional. It's not like just a classroom. He helped us think very critically. He was there for us inside and out of the classroom. So I appreciate his presence in the classroom. So yeah, that was one of my favorite HSUP courses. And for social work, I guess HISP, so human behavior in social environment, because it was very reminiscent of adolescent development in HDOV and intro to human development. I think what draw me to both majors and what I see myself doing in the future, I want to learn how people interact in their environment, how trauma influences people and their relationships and how they interact with one another. So it was really interesting learning about that. And yeah, I guess it's just the professors that make the class. Like all of my professors so far that I've met are really supportive, and they really go out of their way to make sure that, you know, we're not just understanding the material, that we can actually apply it to real life situations, which is what I appreciate.
Awesome. I think and Nora, I think you could probably make some bucks off a t-shirt if you call it. I love this class so much I T8 for it. That would be a nice be a nice slogan we have everywhere. So I'm trying to think and see if there's any other questions, but I don't think we have any. And we're coming up right around getting closer to the time at the end. So if there are any other questions that come into the chat, or I'm sorry, the Q&A. So yeah, Flo done that too. But okay. Any last questions? Awesome. So I guess we could wrap up just by really saying I hope that you took a lot and got a really good overview of the College of Community and Public Affairs, its programs, its pathways, its outcomes, and a lot of the exploration that you can do, a lot of the somewhat things that you can discover, the discovery that can take place in CCPA. And I think you got some great perspectives. Thank you again to our faculty, to our staff and administration, and of course to our students in CCPA and our alumni as well. And can really just thank you for your perspectives. And if you have any other questions, please make sure, students, that you reach out to our admissions page. And we can easily be play the middle people to assist with then getting you on if you have more specific questions for representatives in the College of Community and Public Affairs. So definitely reach out to us. We're at admit, ADMIT, at binghamton.edu. And all throughout this month and into the summer, there's going to be a lot of really cool programs happening in the virtual world, and where you can get a sense to learn more about Binghamton University. But yes, thank you all again. And signing off. Have a great evening, day, wherever you're once again broadcasting from. Take care, everyone.